Okay lads, this is the UFC 325 review. Egos, blobs and goats. We are not going to waste any time here. We are going to speed run through these early prelims and get to the main card action. Believe me, I have some thoughts on this main card action, right? We're going to start off with a cancelled fight here. Aaron Tau, our boy, your boy and mine, friend of the channel. He missed weight not once, not twice, but 3 times. He tried to cheat once. He held his heels off the scale. They then brought on the curtain. He then tried to rest his elbows on the curtain. You know, he originally weighed in at 122, ended up at 129, and safe to say he should be looking for a new line of work because he is never going to get hired by UFC ever again. Think about how they treated Armin Sarukian for missing weight. You think this guy's going to get a fucking job? First fight of the night, Lawrence Louis beat Solon Grangbo. And I told you we're going to speedrun this, folks, so let's go through it. Really of note there, we then had Nakamura, who pulled one out the fire with a crazy knee up the middle, knocking out Sizzle. Is that how you say his name? We then had Don Marfan, clear decision over Sang Wook. And now I do actually want to go over this fight, right? Can Ofley versus Yiza. Now, Ofley rides Yiza against the cage round 1. At one point in the round he hurts Yiza and just doesn't follow up on it. Like, what do you know? Yiza ends up then getting back up, hurting Ofley later in the round. I'd give the round to Yiza, right? That might be emotion trumping reason. I understand giving the round to Ofley, but just on the principle of not following up once you've rocked your opponent, like, I'm giving this to Yiza. He ended up gaining control back in the round and landing some shots on Ofley here, right? I understand that we glamorise the maintaining calm after you've rocked someone. Don't rush in, you might get hurt. Momentum switches. So we romanticise the slow approach, right? He's rocked. Move in for the kill, right? With a finesse and dispatch of the opponent. Well, Ofley decided to rock Yiza, then not even pursue it. He ended up getting hit hard multiple times towards the end of the first, then just got punked out, start to finish of round 2, borderline 10-8 by the way. I think some of the judges, no, one of the judges gave a 10-8 maybe? I think one of them scored this a draw. Like, he just get beat up by Yiza, pieced up in front of his own people, dominated, knocked down onto his own face, and somehow survived the second round. Ofley is either going to learn from this experience, or he will stay rotting on the prelims, or just get shipped off to the Apex, right? Next day delivery. Fuck him. I could not believe, right, when he had Yiza rocked in round 1, he didn't press him. Like, he should have been finished in round 2. He took so much damage. Came out swinging in round 3. He used the lead calf kick. Yiza got a couple takedowns. I thought Ofley won the round. People were saying robbery after this. I don't know about robbery. I kind of get it either way. I think I had Yiza round 1. I had a 10-8 round 2. And then Ofley took round 3. But, like, round 1 was that close that you could have given it to Ofley. It's subjective whether round 2 was a 10-8, so I can see why a judge would score it 29-28. But to me, Yiza had this in the bag. Right, Mikhailov versus Elliott. Mikhailov started slow. Elliott was putting the pressure, tripped him with a couple of leg kicks whilst off balance. Nothing really to separate them in terms of striking until Mikhailov gets the flash knockdown. Elliott bounced straight back up, recovered. But, like, the only other big strike here was Mikhailov. People had different scores for this round. It was close. It could have gone either way. But, I mean, based on damage, I would have given it to Mikhailov. Elliott looked like he was in control in the second. They were clenched against the cage. Mikhailov got the takedown, took his back, got the hooks in and the choke to end the fight. Elliott didn't tap. He just hung in there for as long as possible, passed out. Mikhailov gets the win. Next up, we had Malkoun versus Finney, and just at the top here, Finney has an insane build for middleweight. Like, he's so small, but he's, like, packed to the absolute brim with muscle. Anyway, Malkoun just pieced up Finney for 5 minutes. Finney had just a lazy takedown attempt, easily stuffed. Malkoun just jabbed Finney's face off for the entire first round. He got the knockdown on Finney. Bisping on commentary says, oh, it's over. But no, it wasn't, because like a fucking idiot, Malkoun tried to fucking guillotine instead of throwing strikes to end the first. He easily could have finished it here. Into the second, Finney's leg looked fucked, right? So no level changes, nothing on the feet either, just except a brief burst about a minute into the round. 2.5 minutes into the round, Malkoun gets another knockdown with a straight right, then starts fucking wrestling. What are we doing, right? Let him back up. You're piecing him up on the feet. Why wrestle with him? Just zero IQ. He's out here trying to fucking choke a guy with no neck. Into the third, and I'm surprised at the scores people put on threads, like in the lower third of the screen. Like, there's only one 10-8 round in there, and I thought there was potential for two, right? Like, I'm surprised nobody went for it. But again, into the third, Malkoun is wrestling, trying to work a clinch. Why get this guy in the middle and finish him? Finney has offered nothing so far. But instead, he just closes out the fight, wins the decision. He had two 30-26s and one 30-27. Next up, Cam Royston versus Cody Brundage. Or Rouston, sorry, not Royston. Rouston, I'm just calling him Cam, was backing Brundage up against the cage first. He was hitting him with some nice shit. But every so often, Brundage would throw these like wild combinations. None of them would land, by the way. He would throw them, they just wouldn't land. He was only throwing them to get off of the cage before then being just backed up again. So I'm not sure why he didn't shoot when he got into the middle to avoid getting backed up again. But he didn't bother. He just decided to get backed up again. Into the second, Brundage was getting backed up again. What do you know? And he would just try swinging these wild overhands before moving back to the cage again. Cam feints, finally sets up a knee down the middle. It's been there the whole fight, right? He knocks down Brundage. Cam then gets back mount, ground and pound. The ref gave Brundage a lot of time to come back before finally finishing it. Good win for Cam, but Brundage was basically a heavy bag the whole fight. Right, we're at the prelim main, Junior Tafa versus Billy Elikana. Tafa comes out here smiling, happy, high-fiving his boys out here like he isn't, like 6-4, you know what I mean? Like, his record is 6-4, why are you so happy? 45 seconds in, Tafa drops Elikana badly, like leg folded over, dropped badly. But he then just popped up like nothing happened. I couldn't believe it. Like, I thought he was done for. Tafa hit Elikana hard in the first round, stunned him a couple of times. Like, why is Elikana not wrestling? It's so depressing when you see like two guys fight and you're just, you know that this is just like bottom of the barrel light heavy, you know. They go back to Elikana's corner and they're telling him to stay standing. Like, stay up, find the outside foot position. Like, are you out of your fucking mind? The fact that Elikana only got dropped once is a victory in itself. Finally, halfway through round 2, he gets the takedown, transitions to back mount. Tafa then spins over, spins back, literally hands Elikana his neck, who gets the choke and the win. This was embarrassing, right? Both guys are truly terrible, but we have finally arrived at the main card. Quillan Southkild versus Jamie Malarkey. Quillan gets the grappling off quick here, makes his intentions very clear. But Malarkey actually ends up getting the takedown. Quillan keeps the underhooks. He's able to get back up again. That's kind of all that happened for the first minute. But then Quillan gets a really nice throw on Malarkey. Got the choke or the neck crank. It was difficult to tell from the camera angle that he used. But he gets the win. And I said in the predictions that Quillan is a real prospect. And I'm actually looking forward to seeing him up against some opposition higher up the chain now that he has some momentum behind him. Now for the fight that absolutely ruined my weekend, right? I had a rant on yesterday's video, right, when I covered UFC 5 on the Shamrock and Gracie fight. My blood was boiling watching this, right? Tai Tuivasa is now on an 0-6 slide. I have no idea what happens to him now, right? I made a joke in my prediction video that Tai Tui was getting PFL ready. But it's not just that he get beat tonight. It was that in a 3-round, 15-minute fight, both of these guys have such little athleticism that they were both gassed. I am sure you have all seen the photo of both these guys standing there in the 3rd round with their hands on their waist, just standing looking at each other in the middle of the octagon. Just an absolute embarrassment. Tai Tui took a year off, right? Somehow got even fatter, came back in front of his own people and couldn't even be bothered to get prepared for a 3-round fight. And by the way, Taliesin Teixeira should also be sent to PFL as well. Fuck both of these guys. Teixeira spent the whole first round just smudging Tuivasa. They got up for the last 30 seconds and just clinched against the cage. So it was a complete nothing round, yet still both of these guys are fucked. After every ranked heavyweight embarrassment, and even unranked, remember Chris Barnett's arse falling out of his shorts? What a fucking joke of a division. But after these heavyweight fights, right, I always see photos on X of old heavyweight fights. The one I seen today was Fedor against Krokop. And we're a far cry away from the glory days of heavyweight. Like, Fedor and Krokop are rolling in their grave and they're not even fucking dead yet. Round 1, Teixeira. Round 2, Teixeira. At one point, about 2.5 minutes into the fight, right, or into the round, Tuivasa's arse is almost hanging out shorts. Again, nothing's happened. Why are these guys so gassed? Like, professional athletes that allegedly deserve more pay. Like, really? Increased pay should be merit-based, not sweeping increases just because you're a fighter. Teixeira had mount for over a minute on Tuivasa and done nothing with it. Round 3, fuck both these guys, cut them from UFC. They are literally broken, having not done anything for over 10 minutes, right? At one point, Teixeira gets rocked by Tuivasa, but he's forced to clinch because he's so tired he can't do anything after rocking him. Both of these guys in the clinch look as though they're about to die. Teixeira's credited with a win here, but there were no winners, not even the fans. Having sat and watched that, the Australian crowd were loud during this because Tuivasa is a native, not because any of this resembled anything good, and thank God it was over. Okay, Fiziev versus Huffy, right? When I predicted this, I said Huffy by KO. I said that Fiziev isn't someone you would describe as chinny, but he's been KO'd before. And I just had a feeling that it could happen here. As the fight got closer, I started thinking I should have just gone with the decision. And then I was doubting my pick altogether as soon as, like, the fight got closer. Like, Fiziev, he's had tougher competition. Maybe he can pull this back. But his form as of late had just been so tragic. Like, his win over Bahamondes was saving him after a 3-fight slide. And I just thought that form would come back because Huffy is a step up from Bahamondes, and that turned out to be correct. Fiziev put the pressure on Huffy early, but only like halfway. He took the centre of the octagon, but nothing really of note in the first round. Huffy gave up the first round, really, but he was still finding his range at the end of the first, and then into the second, he got it. He caught Fiziev with a straight right, sent Fiziev spinning back, and then the second shot knocked him down. Huffy finished him with ground and pound. Nothing insulting about this fight. Just two good lightweights doing fine work. Oh man, I'm sorry, but that last fight genuinely disgusted me, and just the state of heavyweight is embarrassing. Hooker versus BSD. This was Dan Hooker's ego, right, getting the best of him here. Again, just like terrible decision making. Like, why are you going for the takedown on BSD, you fucking idiot? Like, your grappling is shit. I have nothing to say on the nuts and bolts blow for blow here, right? Like, this felt like a desperation attempt to prove a point that, like, look guys, my grappling isn't that bad. Look, I'll take down BSD. Look what the fuck happened. A terrible decision in front of your own people over just like a flippant comment from Paddy Pimblett. Like, at this rate, Dan Hooker might be PFL ready. I know people might not want to hear that, right? But he might be at this point. Like, I said he would probably be next for Pimblett, win or lose. There's win or lose, and then there's this, right? Like, this was a pure ego thing. Paddy Pimblett said your grappling was shit and you tried to prove a point. Like, I get that it's BSD and he's good, but, like, when you go out there making the point of, oh, I'll take down BSD, we'll see who's grappling shit. Well, we did see whose grappling was shit. BSD had ground control for about 3 minutes in that second round. Just rained ground and pound on Hooker whilst Herb Dean thought about what he was having for dinner tonight, and then finally stopped it when he came back to earth. Thank God, right, we've reached the main event. Now, elephant in the room, right, let's just get to the scoring here. I had Volk 1, Lopes 2, even though I thought it could have gone either way. I had Lopes 3, Volk 4 and 5, right? There was a judge that gave this 50-45. That judge needs to be drug tested now. How, right, in the name of Christ, in round 3, you have, like all these rounds pretty much were, they were pretty nothing rounds, right? Nothing completely clear and obvious. You could have gave this either way, and you can see the argument either way. These were close rounds, but round 3 I thought was clearly Lopes's, because when he drops Volk in round 3, right, again, nothing round, Lopes drops him. There was a judge who's seen that and thought, yeah, that's Volkanovski's round. What the fuck? Look, this was a very close fight, right? And it was made close because there was little action over the course of each round, but each guy had a moment where you could go, oh, he took the round here. Well, I think he took the round there. I don't think this was vintage Volk by any means, like John Anik tried to say that it was at the end of the fight. But look, it is what it is. It was a close fight that could have gone either way. The judges sided with Volk. I would have sided with Volk as well, but 50-45 is just egregious. People were upset that either like Murphy or Evloev didn't get this fight against Volk, but UFC picked Lopes to fight Volk for entertainment value over actual merit, right? I will say that after fights last year that had a lot of hype and failed to deliver, I'm looking at DDP Hamza and Islam JDM, like, I don't mind if UFC want to put on entertaining fights, even if it's not necessarily what the rankings should dictate. Now, people on X are saying that this was just a pointless rematch, right? But at the end of the day, I watch this to be entertained. If that happens to be the champion versus the ranked number 1 contender, then even better, right? But last year I was very excited for DDP Hamza, Islam JDM, and those fights actually failed to deliver on that hype. So if UFC want to make these fights like Gaethje Paddy, Volk Lopes, when you can bank on them being entertaining fights, then so be it. I know other people have called this fight boring now that I say that, but see, when we're on here debating scores and who won the fight, in a fight that has big moments, both guys are active in the fight, and we end up getting to the end and you either don't know who won or you're arguing with someone about how you think the other guy won, then I'm okay with that as far as I'm concerned. Like, we're 2 for 2 on main events so far this year, to me, so I'm not complaining. This wasn't a barn burner by any means. I'm not saying it was the most exciting fight ever, but I wouldn't call it boring, right? Like, if you've been keeping up with my UFC retro reviews on this channel, we just watched UFC 5. Now, that super fight between Gracie and Shamrock was boring. But anyways, I digress. That is us for today's video. This is nearly 20 minutes long. Thank you for sticking with it this long. Remember to like and subscribe, comment what you thought on the card, and I will see you all next time.